I need to talk about the horrible way Heroines Run the Show ended and why that series really disappointed me. Of course, as always, before we begin, make sure you grab your cup because it's time to spill the anime tea. Let's talk about how toxic idol culture isn't cute and why Heroines Run the Show tried to make us think that it was. Let's begin. For those unfamiliar with Heroines Run the Show, it's basically a series that follows a young girl whose name is Hiyori. She moves to Tokyo in order to fulfill her dream of being on the track team because she loves to run, but her family isn't that well off and she has lots of brothers and sisters, so she needs to find a job in order to afford her lifestyle. And the one job that actually takes her on because of her tight schedule of going to school and being on the track team is a manager job for these two idol boys who happen to be in her class. So if you're like me, when I first watched this series, I thought this was a great setup for some interesting love triangle type shoujo rom-com series, and I even looked it up to see if it was based off a manga, but it's not. It's a completely original series, which I was actually more excited about because when do we ever get a completely original series where we have a main girl heroine and two idol boys and a possible love triangle high school romance type situation? So needless to say, I was excited. Now the series, about halfway through, still maintains some excitement. Like, you're happy for Hiyori getting out and doing things on her own. You're happy that she's running and doing what she loves, even though she has to deal with these really bratty idols who have like no personality except for that they're huge brats, and I hate them. They are like the worst idol like out there in terms of personality. They're great at their jobs, but terrible people. Despite the boys being bratty and unlikable, I was still having some high hopes for the show. It was clear by like the 4th or 5th episode that it wasn't going to be a love triangle type situation because none of the possible love interests, which are the two idol boys, had any real personality traits that were redeemable or likable anyway. So it made it seem like they were not going to be a good fit for the heroine, who was the most likable character in the entire show. And there's another love interest that comes in and that kind of just is there, like in the background. So after throwing all possibilities of love and love triangle and drama out of the window, I went for the secondary approach for the next main thing that was brought up in the series, which is that our main character, Hiyori, wanted to be a heroine. She wanted to be like someone who fit in the scene. Like throughout the first few episodes, she felt like she was just a background character with no dialogue and nothing to say and nothing of interest to give because she was just in the background helping the boys, be idols and helping to manage them. But there's about 2 episodes where she actually kind of shines a little bit. She decides to dress up a little bit and do something for herself, which I was concerned that it was gonna go like complete 180 degree, like in the direction that I didn't want it to go in, which was just her not really accepting herself for who she was, but as this like dressed up version of herself, which was like, I hope it doesn't go that way. Luckily, it didn't. Luckily, she stuck with her own self and she kept her own personality and her own look. She just wanted to try to dress up a little bit and she had a little bit of fun, but at the end of the day, she enjoyed who she was and how she looked, and it just helped her boost her confidence, which was cool. I very much enjoyed that aspect of the show. The only thing that sucked about that part is that it didn't lead anywhere, just like the possible love triangle, which was shattered by like the 4th episode. The introduction of Hiyori actually wanting to be a heroine and being someone who was more confident and upfront in who she was and what she wanted kind of doesn't lead anywhere in the rest of the show, which is fine if it was just her character growth and her development. Like she just became someone that she actually wanted to be with the help of the idol boys who she won over as her friends. That's fine. That's cool. It should have ended there. But no, it kept going. And then we get episode 11 where toxic fan culture comes into the picture and they don't handle it well at all. Like, you just think that they introduce it. So they're like, oh, cool. They're going to actually address like how toxic and kind of awful that fan culture and parasocial relationships with idols and fans kind of can go wrong. But they just did not handle it well at all. So here's a major plot twist for the whole series. I'm about to give it away. It's a major spoiler. Basically, Hiyori gets bullied at some point because the school finds out that she's hanging out with the idol boys, and they find out that there might be a type of relationship between them, and that the boys might be dating her. One of them might be dating her, and that's a huge issue for idols because in idol culture, the idols are not supposed to have public relationships because they're supposed to belong to the fans, which is really messed up and can be discussed at a different time. The worst part is that the person who kind of outed Hiyori being friends with the boys and posted pictures of her hanging out with the boys after school and being friendly with them, and started this whole hazing and bullying situation for Hiyori, who deserves nothing but good things because she's a great person, ends up being one of her close friends, who's not really even a close friend because we don't even get to see them hanging out that much. Hiyori has two other friends, two girls who are supposed to be her friends, but we don't really see them hang out at all, except for in the ending sequence, which I feel was just their way of adding in oh yeah, these three are close, but we don't have time to put that in the anime. So there's that. Anyway, one of the girls, the one with the long black hair and glasses, ends up being a huge Lip fan, which is the name of the idol group, which is, on another note, it's just so weird. Lip. It's just a weird, funny idol name. I don't know. It's not very attractive at all. What I was saying is that the friend ends up being the person who posted the pictures of Hiyori all over the place. And she's like, actually, I don't like you. We're not friends. I actually hate you. I just pretended to like you, because she doesn't actually say. There's no reason why she pretends to be friends with her, actually. It's weird. So it gets revealed that Hiyori's friend is a traitor and an evil person and is way too attached to the blonde-haired idol boy in the group. Hiyori finding this out deeply upsets her, and rightfully so. I mean, I guess this character was someone who was supposed to be a friend of hers, and after she purposely quit the idol group because of the bullying and because she didn't want to put the boys in a situation where they had to answer to the press that they were not dating her. She quit managing them and just started hanging out at school with her friends. She literally gave up her life, her job, which she needed, to help these boys because of someone who doesn't really have a real reason as to why they did all this, except that they are super attached to the idol group. And like I said, this would be an interesting aspect to point out in terms of toxic idol culture and how some fans go too far when it comes to their bias and their favorite groups. But instead of making an actual intellectual point about all of this and this entire situation, they just have Hiyori go back, talk to the friend, even though the friend says that she doesn't want anything else to do with her or the idol group anymore. She's renounced both of them because of the things that she did, and she feels bad about it. She doesn't even admit that, but she feels bad about it, and she tries to separate herself from the entire situation, which I think is the smartest thing to do. She definitely should have separated herself, because to protect her mental health, that was the best thing to do. Even for all of them. I think Hiyori also should have separated from her as well. But no, instead it took the anime approach and had Hiyori go after this girl, literally harass her 3 to 4 times, go to her house, go to her room, and be like, you need to go to this final concert that the idol boys are gonna have. And the girl's like, no, I don't want to go because I don't have anything to do with Lip or you. I'm just done with it because it made me a horrible person, and I don't think I should be associating with that anymore. And Hiyori's like, no, you should go because you like them, it's important to you, you worked hard and all this, blah, 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 blah. And she did, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't know what she's doing. She understands that she needs to separate herself from the situation to be a better person. And number 2, it's not a great idea to reintroduce someone to something that traumatized them and that caused them to do really bad things. If she says that she doesn't want to go, then don't make her go. Don't make her do it. Also, I wish that Hiyori and this girl did not become friends again. I wish that she did not end up going to the concert, because it doesn't really make sense. It has nothing really intellectual to say about the situation. She shouldn't have gone back to something that made her do something awful and made her feel terrible about herself. And Hiyori should have let her go because she was not truly her friend anyway. But because this is an anime and they like to take the friends above all approach, she went, and that's basically how the series ended. With everyone happy, quote unquote, except for the freaking fans who were like, what the heck? What does this even mean? Anyway, to wrap it up, Hiyori and her relationship with the bratty idol boys was cute. It was decent. I was glad that she made friends and that she was able to step out of her comfort zone and do something great, even though it came at the cost of her not getting first place in her track meet competition, which is the whole reason that she went to Tokyo in the first place. It literally felt like she was putting these idol boys above her actual goals, which was running and track. So that sucks. But the saddest part about this is that since this is a show that really emphasized like idols, and you could tell that it was almost created to kind of sell these like idol boys, and even the main characters of the show it was mostly made to make music for idols, which is fine. But don't bring up a topic as like divisive and psychological as toxic idol culture only to subvert it into a positive message. Like, it's just not right, and I'm not down for that, and I really hope for better for the series, but I was disappointed. I hope that other series that come out that do something similar don't go down this route and have just a better message overall, and actually have the main character do what they want to do instead of give up their entire life and time to some idol boys that don't even deserve it because they have no personality whatsoever. Anyway, I'm done. That was my rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Don't watch Heroines Run The Show. Go watch something else. Anyway, I'm just kidding. You can watch Heroines Run The Show if you want. But I wish that some other like shoujo manga and josei manga series were adapted instead of all the effort that they put into this particular show. So that's what I'm bitter about. Anyway, sorry for ending on a negative note. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to hear me rant or rave or review or break down any other anime or anime genre, then consider subscribing by clicking my cute little face somewhere up here, and continue watching more videos from my channel. Thank you so much for sticking around and listen to me rant about this anime. And let me know your thoughts on the show if you watched it, or any other idol kind of shows that you watch that possibly do this topic a little bit better. Anyway, thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!